In the early days of Operation Barbarossa, the German invasion of the Soviet Union, numerous fierce and unexpected encounters occurred. One such dramatic and extraordinary encounter unfolded on June 23, 1941, near the small town of Rasenii. The German forces, buoyed by their rapid advance and recent capture of the town, were about to face an incredible challenge that would test their resolve, strategy, and humanity in ways they could not have anticipated. The day had been long and arduous for the German troops. They had spent much of it securing Rasenii, a strategically significant location, ensuring that it could serve as a forward position for further advances into Soviet territory. As evening descended, the weary soldiers looked forward to a brief respite, expecting a quiet night after a hard-fought day. However, the calm of dusk was deceptive, masking the imminent confrontation that would etch itself into the annals of wartime history. At the edge of town, on a critical supply route, a formidable Soviet KV-1 heavy tank lay in wait. This tank, a marvel of Soviet engineering, had been stationed with calculated precision by its crew. The KV-1 was renowned for its thick armor and powerful 76.2mm gun, making it a formidable adversary on the battlefield. The crew of 6 tankers, aware of the advancing German forces, prepared themselves for the impending clash, knowing they were heavily outnumbered but resolute in their mission. The German column, a mix of tanks, half-tracks, and support vehicles, moved cautiously along the road. The soldiers, though vigilant, were not prepared for the sight that greeted them. Ahead, the KV-1 stood ominously, silent and immobile. To the Germans, it appeared as if the tank had been abandoned or perhaps placed as a decoy. Despite their suspicion of a trap, the necessity of maintaining their advance compelled them to approach the tank. Without warning, the stillness was shattered. KV-1's engine roared to life, and its turret swung into action. The first shell fired from the Soviet tank's gun struck a German vehicle with lethal precision, resulting in a fiery explosion. Panic ensued within the German ranks as the KV-1 unleashed a torrent of firepower, its shells wreaking havoc on the column. The initial confusion gave way to chaos as the German vehicles attempted to scatter and regroup. The KV-1's crew, displaying remarkable marksmanship and composure, continued their assault, destroying several more vehicles. The road was quickly littered with the burning remnants of the German column, and the smell of smoke and burning fuel filled the air. Frantic reports from the front line streamed into the German headquarters. Descriptions of a single Soviet tank decimating their forces sowed fear and bewilderment among the German commanders. The prospect of a lone tank halting their advance seemed implausible, and the fear of a larger Soviet counterattack loomed large in their minds. Concerned that the KV-1 was merely the vanguard of a substantial Soviet force, the decision was made to commit an entire division to neutralize the threat. The ensuing battle was a testament to the ferocity of warfare. German forces, comprising tanks, infantry, and artillery, converged on the KV-1. The Soviet tankers, undeterred and resolute, braced for the onslaught. The KV-1's armor proved its worth, absorbing hit after hit from the German guns. The battlefield echoed with the thunderous exchange of fire as shells exploded all around. The German tanks, including Panzer III and Panzer IV models, attempted flanking maneuvers to exploit any potential weaknesses in the KV-1's armor. Infantry units, armed with anti-tank rifles and grenades, advanced under covering fire. Despite their efforts, the KV-1's thick armor held firm, repelling the onslaught with an almost mythical resilience. The battle raged on for hours, with the KV-1 continuing to inflict significant damage on the German attackers. The tank's crew demonstrated extraordinary tactical acumen, maneuvering their vehicle to maintain advantageous positions and exploiting the terrain to their benefit. Each shell they fired seemed to find its mark, further demoralizing the German forces. Finally, after what seemed an eternity of relentless combat, the KV-1 sustained 13 direct hits from various calibers of German ordnance. The cumulative damage rendered the tank immobile and seemingly silenced its formidable gun. Tentatively, German soldiers approached the battered vehicle, wary of any potential last stand from its crew. As they neared the KV-1, the tank's engine roared once more, and the vehicle began to move. This sudden resurgence triggered another wave of panic among the Germans. Recognizing the unyielding spirit of the Soviet crew, German soldiers resorted to close-quarters tactics. 2 courageous soldiers, under the cover of their comrades' fire, approached the tank and managed to lob grenades into the turret. The resulting explosions finally silenced the KV-1, bringing the epic confrontation to an end. With the battlefield now quiet, the Germans cautiously examined the KV-1. Inside, they found the bodies of 6 Soviet tankers, who had fought with unparalleled bravery and tenacity. The sight of the fallen crew evoked a profound sense of respect among the German soldiers. Despite being adversaries, they were moved by the courage and sacrifice displayed by the Soviet tankers. In an extraordinary act of military honor, the German soldiers decided to bury the Soviet tankers with full military honors. A makeshift cemetery was established nearby, and a solemn ceremony was conducted. The fallen Soviet crew was laid to rest with respect and dignity, their graves marked by simple crosses. The Germans, in a rare gesture of wartime camaraderie, saluted their fallen foes, acknowledging their heroism. The story of the KV-1 tank and its crew at Rasenii is a poignant reminder of the complexities of human emotions in times of war. The respect shown by the German soldiers towards their fallen adversaries transcended the conflict, highlighting the shared humanity that can emerge even amidst the horrors of battle. The legacy of this encounter endures, symbolizing the courage and sacrifice of those who fought in one of the most brutal conflicts in history. The KV-1 and its crew are remembered not only for their extraordinary bravery, but also for the profound impact their actions had on their enemies. This story serves as a testament to the resilience of the human spirit and the capacity for honor and respect, even in the darkest of times.